your spirit ground.
Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Warm Embers. Tiffany Wolfe here, and I have the brilliant and talented Julie Olson. You'll know her on TikTok as Navajo in Finance. So, welcome.
Yo,
Um,
Tiff. Hey, no, Tiff, thank you so much. I am super ecstatic to be here. Sis, for allowing me to be here and at least share what I and my experiences are in being in finances. And yes, guys, you can follow me at Navajo in Finance on TikTok, on Instagram. Um, Soon YouTube. You can still follow me on YouTube. I'm going to be launching out some new videos and curriculum there too. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, Tiff. Thank you.
yes, I just think knowing about Beso, Mazaska is so important as Native people that when colonization came through, destroyed our way of life. And then we're starting from ground zero a lot of times. And then now we have all kinds of different backgrounds. Like some people have per cap, and they're out there like Foxwoods. I think they're out there living the dream. So, but I still think that even at that point, there everybody needs to know budgeting and finance. And when I saw you live, I was like, oh, I gotta have this girl because she just is like laying down the knowledge, because you constantly are like uplifting and laying down strategies for finance, and you're talking to the people on your live. 'Cause a lot of people don't do that. I don't know if you've done it, but I was like, okay, she's very engaging and you care. Your passion comes through on your lives. So that's when I saw you. I was like, yes, gotta have this one.
That's why I'm there on TikTok, Tiff. Um, TikTok is a world where individuals are either seeking stimulation, they're wanting to connect with others. These aren't bad things. It's just identifying how the masses utilize that platform. So to separate yourself from the masses, you have to do different from the masses. See, on TikTok, what they're looking for is money. The
Mhm.
people that are on there, they're looking for those gifts, those currency to be given to you. So, the way I'm going to shine my light on a platform like that is you don't have to gift me. You you can just be there. Let's learn.
Mhm.
I'm taking my time out of my day to educate you. So there's that equal exchange. And that's the whole point. We shouldn't be gatekeeping information. We shouldn't be restricted to say things. We shouldn't only help a certain type of demographic or group when it comes to getting types of financial education or knowledge. I mean, and or exposure, the
Mhm.
experience of it. So, um, yes, that's why I'm there on TikTok is to expose myself that I am just a normal person to provide information, hear my experiences, see what I went through. Obviously, people are going to resonate, people aren't. That's okay.
Uh-huh.
I am shining my light to see, okay, who's my tribe that thinks like me, that
Mhm.
understands like me, because there's a lot of people who do, but we're silently living our desperate lives and finances in our own worlds. And it's hard for us to figure out where to ask, who to listen to, who to trust. So why not be on a platform where I can speak to the masses? I'm just one person. I can't be in all places. That's what I can use that tool for. So I'm glad that I was able to find you.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so you want to tell us a little bit about your background, your clans, your school, your
Yes, so who I am, who's Julie, my background. Let's talk about my parents. My mom, she is from the Water Edge,
Mm,
and I'm gonna butcher how you pronounce it, but the Tafpa'a clan. That's my mom's. She's from Newcomb area
okay.
of New Mexico. She's from the lineage of Chief Manuelito and Chief
Okay.
Narbona from
Uh-huh.
her paternal side. Um, my father is from Escrito, Liebrook area. That's where his reservation is, New Mexico, just between DZ and Cuba.
Uh-huh.
That's where my father grew up. His clan is, and I don't know how to say his, it's Red Bottom.
Okay.
So my his father, he doesn't know his father, so we assume that he's Nakai.
Okay.
Um, when I've been searching and now like praying and interacting with my spiritual self and asking like my family where are my ancestors now,
Yes.
um, I feel like this connection of on my father's side, I might even be part Yaqui. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's that feeling. There's
Uh-huh.
nothing that's concrete. There's no scientific behind it, but there's been this yearning. That's a whole nother story. So that's like my parents, okay?
Uh-huh.
Um, I was born in Farmington, grew up in Bloomfield. My father, the reasons why we moved to Arizona, and I'll probably dive into that, but the reasons why we moved was because my father lost his job.
Mm-hmm.
My money story starts with one of my money stories starts with that.
Uh-huh.
Um, I can go far back as to our ancestors, as to when was the American dollar introduced to us. I believe that could be the original of the understanding of the American dollar. So you talked about like colonization and how that affected us and the money. This is what I would say to that. We always had economy. We
Yes,
always
that's
had
true.
economy.
That is
Okay.
true.
We always had economy. There's no, I would minimize that type of message. And the reasons why I say that is because we knew economy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like this. Think of it like we grew up with the American dollar and then all of a sudden Bitcoin came. We didn't know what
Uh-huh.
Bitcoin was. We didn't understand it. We didn't understand the laws. We didn't understand what it could exchange and not exchange. What was this? What is this? Like we still are questioning that. Think
Mm-hmm.
of it like that. That's a type of transition of what happened to our people when it comes to the understanding of the American dollar.
Yes,
Okay?
that's so true because I just taught an earring class and then we were talking about dentillium because that's what I use to make earrings. And that was a currency, like wampum was a currency. Different things had currency for trade. So yes, that is true. It would be like all of a sudden the market crashed and our monies meant nothing. And then
Yeah.
now we have this new currency, the dollar. And how do we
Yeah.
get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's in other words, it's pivoting to a new version of exchange.
Hmm.
That's all that the dollar does. That's all that money does. That's all that currency does. But for some reason, we group that underneath the same umbrella as economy, money, trades, investing, all of that. We put that all in one, so we think it all needs to fit as one. Which in reality, if it was all in one, we would call it one word. But we don't. There's so many different words that comes down to financial literacy. We're not literate on the words to use, so we put it all underneath one umbrella and now we're going in the cycle of wrong information.
Yes.
And then now the masses are all saying it. Now all the
Uh-huh.
masses are saying it because all the masses are saying it, that must be true.
Uh-huh.
False. So that's one thing I would as our people are growing, I encourage people to start to separate the energies of what's lingering. I understand we are going to be growing as a society when we're building wealth, when we're obtaining actual resource, aka money. It
Uh-huh.
requires the individual to have a certain mindset to obtain that. So, in other words,
Yes.
knowledge.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm saying here is in order for you to obtain that, you have to seek it, understand it, learn it, and then obtain it, just like a farmer. If you don't know how to grow certain crops, you got to understand it, understand that type of seed, see what type of soil, maybe it needs certain type of nutrients versus then another type of, seed. So in other words, you're a farmer to your own money. Do you know how to grow it? Do you know how to keep it? Do you know how to produce it? Or do you just know how to hold it and just and have it in a cup and it doesn't grow?
Yeah, you are just like spitting knowledge, and my mind's like, boom, because it's so true. Like you are actually like translating money. terminology into our life to where we're like, oh yeah, so we could see it differently. And then all of a sudden our mindset expands. Yeah, because yeah, I don't know. Some people are like, oh, I just put my money in a safe at home. It's like you're not growing that sucker, you're just planting those seeds. You haven't even planted
In other
them.
words, your seeds, if we were to take the analogy of our ancestors, those seeds are just chilling in a clay pot.
Oh
All
yes,
it's doing. Okay, you're
exactly.
not putting it in the earth for it to grow.
Yes. Okay, so how did you choose finance? I know you gave a little bit about your dad's losing his
So
job, so
I would say it was a layer of experiences that honed me into this career. Um, I would also say it was my uh, interests as well that also aligned with that. So what I'm saying is I grew up you and I were talking just behind this, one of the
uh-huh.
things that you mentioned was one of the dialogues you heard growing up was we can't afford it. We don't have money, like we don't have money. That costs money. We don't have it. So when you're told this, you start to tell in your own world that money is scarce. So it's like you can only get by with it. You don't realize that's what you're developing. So when I was growing up, the way that my family, the way money was positioned for my influence in my brain was, um, my parents didn't, how do I say this? The way they talked about money was they did the actions of like budgeting. So we saw that. I saw that. They
Uh-huh.
didn't talk about it, but I saw that. Um, they would tell us we couldn't do certain things. So then I knew like that's what that meant. Um, when I was in seventh grade, when I was 7 years old, when I was in second grade, that's when my dad lost his job. So I remember I couldn't comprehend what that meant, but it was a change in our family.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just knew that my dad wasn't receiving money. Again, as a kid, you don't understand what that means. I remember thinking to my mom, like, just write a check. You know what I mean? Like, just write a
Uh-huh.
check, you'll be fine. Like, just write a check. Like, we just see those actions, but we don't know the meaning behind those actions. So that's what I'm expressing. So my father, he was working at Williams Oil Company out in
Okay.
New Mexico.
Uh-huh.
So uh how do I say this? Let's give you a perspective of the value of the dollar. So
Uh-huh.
my parents' three-bedroom, two-bath house was about a little over $30,000.
Uh-huh.
A three-bedroom, two-bath house now is a little over 350,000, 350,000. So
Yes.
you're telling me a house just costs a little less than 35,000? That's like less than a brand new car today.
Yes.
So that's the value of my parents' house. So just to give you comprehension, the value of my father's 401k was over 300,000.
Uh-huh.
So can you
At that
comprehend
time.
it? At
Yeah.
that time? So
Uh-huh.
300,000 was a lot of money. It was
Yes.
like a lot of a home. Okay?
Uh-huh.
That's how much my
Yeah, that's
dad
like
had.
buying 10 homes at that point.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that is how much my father's 401k was worth.
Uh-huh.
So now let's keep going a little bit more information. This is where I desire. I don't want to say need. If I say I need, it becomes selfish, okay?
Okay.
Like I really hope, okay? I can't force people to understand this. I can't force people to do it. They have to do it on their own. It's their money, it's their life. But
Uh-huh.
the education I'm bringing those listeners that are listening right now
Yes.
is when you put your money inside a 401k, it defaults to the company stock.
Yes.
So my father was contributing inside his 401k, thinking he's putting a percentage, thinking he's developing that habit, thinking he's doing what's right because guess what? Society told go get a job, go
Yes.
get education, go get those
Mm-hmm.
benefits. So what did he
Yep.
do? He got a 401k. He was doing that faithfully. Then boom,
Yes.
boom, boom. Now he has over 300,000 inside his 401k, thinking that he's doing what's best. He's happy. We're happy. I'm assuming as a family. Then
Uh-huh.
boom, the market crashes of that for that company company stock goes under, they're laying off people. What does that do to someone's company's 401k that's going directly into their into the company
Oh
stock?
my God.
Went from 300,000 straight down to a few thousand. My dad lost his whole retirement.
Oh my God.
How
I
many
can't
people?
even,
How many
yeah.
people to this day are blindly putting their money inside this vehicle
Uh-huh.
because they think it is the right thing? Now, I'm shining a different light on this vehicle because no one speaks this way about it.
Yes,
If you
I
if you
didn't.
if you look at the creator, his name is Ted Benna. Search him, guys. Go Google him. He is literally the father of the 401k. He's the person who created the product of the 401k. In fact, if you guys search it up, the 401k is not even a retirement account. It's a tax code. It's a tax.
Oh, did not know that.
So when you guys utilize your 401k, in his mind, he was creating it to where it would benefit the employee, but the way it now has evolved, it now benefits the employer.
Oh,
Guys, just a few, maybe 5 years ago, there was a law that would just stated that now legally you have to state that you are getting fees on your 401k. They were not stating that before. These types of vehicles that we think that are safe, going back to what I'm saying, just
yes.
because the masses are saying it
Uh-huh.
doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Question, are
Yes.
we following the line or are we questioning what line are we in? Or are we just standing in the
Oh my
line just because
God.
people are in it?
Have you heard that? Okay, so
Yeah,
when we
there's a whole study behind it and I
yeah,
saw it.
so when we would go to Comic-Con, which is this huge comic book convention, and there would be lines for everything, right? And then we'd be like, what are they standing in line for? So I'd be like, what are you standing in line for? You know how many people said, I don't know. I'm just standing there. Do you know? I'm just
Oh,
like,
I believe it. It's a real thing. It's human
yes.
nature. So
Mhm.
again, if we see the masses do it, we think, oh, that's what we should do. So you follow suit. So this is where
Yes.
I'm telling my native indigenous brothers and sisters, my aunties and uncles, my grandmas
Uh-huh.
and grandpas, wake up! Wake up!
No,
I'm
for
serious.
real. So I always had not to brag, but I've always put into my 401k, but I feel like it's picking racehorses, right? Like which fund, which index, who's going to be the winner here? That's how I approached it, but somehow I always picked winners. So my investments always like grew really quickly, which was nice. But when I went to so my early 30s, I quit and then just cashed it out. And then they just took the taxes out and then because it wasn't that much, it was only like 7,000. And then now I have a substantial amount when I quit my last job. And then I opened a Charles Schwab account. And let me tell you how intimidating that was. I had to click on all of these documents, read through them. Some of them I was like, okay, I think that makes sense. And then I'm like, people, do you need an attorney for this? I think, but I have enough finance and like grant and jargon in my head that I was able to go through it. And then I picked which indexes I wanted to and funds and so far it's grown because I bought in that dip that happened when Trump announced the tariffs. So, but it's still intimidating. So that's the thing I think we need to get past. Like, it's okay that it's intimidating. Take your time, learn about it, talk to Julie here, you know?
It's all about asking questions. If we're not going out to ask, then we're gonna keep doing the same pattern we're doing.
Mhm.
So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it is what would you say like if people want to take their first steps into becoming educated and increasing their knowledge in finance.
Yeah, first and foremost, sit down with a professional. If it's someone that you already know and you haven't met with them and they haven't called you, number one, that's a red flag if they're not following back up with you. But if you're like still gun hung about them, reach out to them. Number two, work with me. That's why I'm here, is to get that exposure that you guys have the accessibility that someone of your own is learning and is giving you the information, not telling you what to do, but
Mm-hmm.
empowering you on what to do. See, there's a difference when I was working with clients prior before getting my own brokerage, I was working with clients, I was doing what they were doing, but it was unfortunate because those individuals still could not comprehend what was doing what their money was doing because they were solely relying on me. Okay.
Okay.
I have developed myself and by all means, if you're one of those type of financial advisors where you want to do that, by all means go do that. But I don't have time. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I need, and again, I'm going to say that selfishly, I'm saying I need. Let me take that back. The mission here is to empower our people to
Yes.
become wealthy, not do it for them.
Yes.
Empower them. Now it's those that are willing and wanting to learn. So the way I go about helping people is when you meet with me, we're gonna go over education, okay? As much as you want to talk product, I'm sorry, like that this is my structure. And the reasons why I do this is because if we go straight into product, you're gonna have so many questions of how it works
Uh-huh.
that it's important that you get the education of it first.
Yes, the
So we
foundation. Okay.
educate.
Mm-hmm.
Step two is you ask suggestions. What is the suggestion? This is the main suggestion. Get a financial checkup. This is
Yes.
what I tell people. People get their teeth cleaning way more than they've ever had their financial checkup. Why? Because we are so brainwashed to think that we pay into this insurance and we think it's free, but guys, it ain't free because you're paying into it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you get your
Yes.
free teeth cleaning. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So now you go get your teeth cleaning every 6 months thinking you're doing what's best. Just take that type of brainwashing for yourself and do your free financial needs analysis. And I say that because, guys, it's free. I'm not
Yes.
going to charge you. Okay. The way we designed our brokerage is if we're going to make changes in the masses with our communities, we can't not only gatekeep the information,
Yes.
but we have no right to charge.
Okay.
So
Free.
standard financial advisors that are going to assist you, not only are they going to move your money, but they're going to get a compensation based off of that money that you moved over. And even if the market crashes and you lost money, they're still taking a compensation out of your money. This is the downfall on the focus of financial advisors because they're hyper focused on putting your money inside market variable accounts because that's how they get their high compensation because that's what they're getting paid
Ooh.
on.
Okay.
But yet they don't focus on helping you and being educated on how to protect your money because that's not where the money's at.
Yes. And I think that is where the intimidation of coming into this kind of marketplace where in our society today, I feel like everybody's out to make money. Like I said, to everybody has a subscription right now, right? Like Zoom, I'm paying for a subscription, Canva, I'm paying for a subscription, Netflix, I'm paying for a subscription, right? Like everybody's trying to milk money from everybody. So when we go into this finance area and you have these smooth, slicked up Belaganas who want to talk to you about money with all this jargon, and it's just like, I do not feel comfortable. Like, what's going on here? All of a sudden, you're not in the receiving, or you're not open. All of a sudden, you're closed off, and it's not safe. And it's like, what's going on here? So I think with your education, laying down that foundation, that would like relax, release, and then people would be more
Huge.
open. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'm in a business, which means it's for profit, okay?
Yes.
Like I ain't gonna do a charity case and it's gonna be like no, and I understand that, right? Like, and
Uh-huh.
that's that fine line that we're breaking in the financial industry is how do we break this mind of financial professionals looking at clients as a commission versus then actually helping individuals and doing what's best for them. So
Yes.
while getting paid, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So that's how we designed our brokerage. And the way we designed our brokerage, a lot of people are like, well, how do you get paid? The way we get paid is number one, I'm not tied down to one product or one particular strategy. So for example, if I was working at Wells Fargo still, and if I were to go through with my financial license there, as a financial advisor there, I'm tied down to only Wells Fargo and only Wells Fargo brokerage products. That's
Okay.
it. I can't work with Charles Schwab or any of these other people. I'm only tied down to that. If I was at Charles Schwab, I'm only tied down to Charles Schwab and only Charles Schwab strategies. That's it. Me, I have a plethora of so many providers that I have. In fact, Charles Schwab is one of them. I
Okay.
have Fidelity is one of them, and all
Uh-huh.
these other name big peoples that I have that are a part of my license, and I'm not tied down. So for me, that allows me to make sure that whatever the client's needing, it is absolutely tailored for them. So depending on whatever one I give, think of it like this as a personal shopper. It's like you're coming to me and you're like, I don't know how to shop for clothes for myself, but I kind of like these colors and I kind of like how certain things fit around this area. What is there? And then now I go and I shop for these different, okay, what about this dress or this suit pant? Which one do you like? You know, I actually like suit pants. Okay, try that on. And then you're gonna look at it and we're gonna talk about it. Okay, I actually want a little bit more of like tightening here, a little bit longer length. Okay, now I'm gonna go back. Now I'm looking for certain suit pants, and then now I'm coming back. Okay, here's these two different styles. You're like, I absolutely love that one. That's how it works when it comes to your financial planning. When we get to the point of where we are, where you are with your funds, if you want to put money away, if you want to grow it, if you want to protect it, if it's with tax strategies, if it's building a business, these different things, right? We're going to go to these different providers, take a look at what solutions they have, present it to you, and then now you're going to be like, ooh, I like that one. When a client chooses whichever one they like, depending on whoever the provider was, it's that provider then that pays me.
Okay.
So that client's money is theirs. I
Yes.
still don't get a portion out of it. It's still their money. Their money is still in their hands. This is how we're going to change the industry. This is how we're going to help people when it comes to growing their money. And also, we still also benefit as well. But right now, how it works is even if you lose money, I still benefit.
Okay.
So if I was putting your money in the market and I was managing it, then even if you lost 70 grand, I would still make money off of you.
Wow. That is interesting. That's kind of like, wow. So how do I get into finance? No, I'm just kidding. No, no, I just think that,
That's just telling the back end of like how these professionals work. And so clients don't understand that. All they think is, like you said, I have money, I don't have this knowledge, I'm going to this professional thinking they're doing what's best for me. But they don't know the back end and the intricates of it, let
yeah,
alone the stuff that they're going to gatekeep based off of the amount of money you have in your pocket.
yeah. So that's what makes it, like I said, kind of intimidating. But I love that you're out there sharing the knowledge, breaking down those barriers.
It's okay.
And
People can be like, "Ah, whatever." I'm like, "It's okay. Throw rocks at me. It's all right."
no, no, because it's actually like if I take my $10,000 and I come to you and I'm like, I want part of it, I want 3,000 invested in like a high return, high risk, and then the 6,000 I want to retire in 40 years. So put that in a safe um account. And then from there, you help me figure that out. And
Exactly.
then the finance companies you work with pay you. So I'm still investing the full 10,000.
Correct.
Yes. See, that's
That 10,000's
beautiful.
yours, not mine. And it will
Yeah.
never go through my hands. It goes from the client's hands to the next provider that they're going to be working with. It never goes through my
Yeah.
hands.
It's kind of like looking at it as like a bank account, right? Like this is a bank account that we're not touching for a while. We're going to let it grow. We're going to plant these little seeds and then see which one grows. And then at the end, when we're ready to use it, it's all grown. So hopefully, as long as tariffs and Iran war and
This
everything
is
else doesn't affect us.
This is the thing is those will always happen.
Yeah.
We can't be naive to think that taxes won't be raised. This is where I'm a firm believer of the message and the analogy of fill your cup up first before you fill up others. Because if you don't fill up your own and here you only have 5 cents in your pocket and then someone over here is like, "Can I have a cent?" and you're like, "I only got 5 cents. I can't give you a penny." But then if your whole cup is filled with all these pennies and someone says, "Can I have a couple?" You're going to be easily be like, "Yeah, here's two," because your cup is full. In other words,
Yes.
if you're an individual where a family's coming to you and is saying, "Hey, like here's can I have some money?" and then when time comes where you don't have money and you tell them you don't have it and they get mad at you, it's because you're building that habit of feeding into them. You're not filling up your own cup. I get this a lot. I get a lot of people like, "Well, family, they get mad at me when I give them money and I tell them or they get mad at me when I tell them I can't do it because I don't even have even enough for me." And I says because you're in not only enabling them, but now
Mm-hmm.
they think that it is okay to treat you this way. So you
Mm,
just got to set your boundaries, and it all comes down to fill up your cup up first. So pay yourself first before you pay any other anybody
yes, that's the number
anybody.
one rule I've heard. Because I took some entrepreneurship classes, and that was the thing they say is that number one, when you start bringing in a little bit of money or however much you're bringing in, to pay yourself first and then put into investing. Open an IRA and then start investing and paying yourself. Even with
There's
whatever you get, like $500 check, pay yourself, invest, and then do the rest for your taxes or whatever.
100%. The book that solidified that for me was not Thinking Rich, it was The Richest Man of Babylon.
Oh,
So, if anybody wants to learn more about paying themselves and budgeting or just learning how to save, The Richest Man in Babylon is the book to read. You can find it on if you have Spotify, you can listen to it on YouTube. I think
uh-huh.
on Spotify it's just a little over 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
Um, but it's a short read. Reasons why I recommend that. When I was working at Wells Fargo, I was the person that would go to all of these corporations, big ones, schools, small ones, small business owners. Like I would go to all of our community businesses and I would teach the employees the financial concepts and I would do that. So I was known of doing that. It was fun. I loved doing that. I remember I was at this time, this is when I was starting to develop that skill of teaching others. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I was probably like, I don't know, 6 years into my career. Okay. Right now I'm like 14. So like I remember in that time I was teaching this class about saving. And it was the concept of paying yourself first. And I remember I kept saying that, and I remember the exact company too. It was an ATV company here in Utah, and I'm sitting there, or I'm standing up, and I'm talking, and then I remember the feeling. The feeling was like, you're not doing that.
Oh,
So like you're
okay.
teaching these people paying themselves, but you're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I can teach all I want. By the way, guys, I'm going to tell you this. Your financial advisor, your banker, as much as they're wearing this nice suit, I guarantee the plans that they're suggesting for you, they are not even doing it themselves.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I dare you to ask them.
No, I imagine so. Like I'm most people you talk to, they're like just paying their bills
Just
and
paying their bills. They just got their job. That's all they're doing.
yeah.
They may have their license, but not all professionals are all the same.
Uh-huh.
So
Exactly.
So FYI on that. Anywho, so I go and I am like, oh my gosh, I am not doing that. So I thought to myself, what am I doing? My habit was and this is everybody. So this is what I'm saying. I read and how did it solidify? It solidified somehow. I read the book through the the richest man of Babylon during that same time frame. I'm not even kidding. It was like that
Okay.
same month. Somehow I
Yeah.
ended up reading it. So in that book, I'm not gonna just read it, but there's a part where the richest man in Babylon comes back to Babylon and he goes back to visit his place where he grew up and he sees a childhood friend and he's like, "Oh my gosh, how did you become the richest man of Babylon?" And he literally says that, "How did you become the richest man of Babylon?" And he instead of answering, he asks him a question. The question is, what do you do when money comes to you? In other words, this is what I teach on my lives. What do you do when money comes into your hand? We're really good at making money. In America, we are so good. We have
Uh-huh.
no shame even asking people for money, even
Oh
when we don't
yeah.
even make it. Okay?
Yeah.
Like we can find money. But for the life of me, when money comes into our hand as Americans, it's like we're the raccoons washing our cotton candy in the water, and all of a sudden the cotton candy just disappears, and we're like, where did it go? That's what happens. We don't we are really good at that money just falling in between our hands. Once it comes in, it's easily out.
Yes.
That's our downfall as Americans. So I'm bringing this up because the guy goes, so what do you do when money comes into your hand? I'm paying bills, I'm paying rent. So again, guys, when money comes into our hand, it's easily going out into other people's pockets.
Yes.
Either it's bills or either you're frivolously spending it, either one or
Yes.
both.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's happening. And then we have this toxic pattern of like, we have no money, we need to get paid more. I'm telling you guys, I've literally seen a plastic surgeon who is making over $70,000 versus a teacher that doesn't even make that in a year.
Uh-huh.
Less than that, more than
Yeah.
half, less like 40,000. She has way more wealth than he does. How does that work? This is what I'm going to tell you guys. It's not about how much money you make, it's your habits.
Yes.
Wealth is habits and planning. There's no rocket science behind it. It's habits and planning. If I
Yes.
were to add a third, it would be your knowledge, but I wouldn't even put that on there. Just your habits
Uh-huh.
and planning. If you're working
Yeah.
with a professional, they're going to help you with habits and planning. If they're wanting to help you to succeed, they're going to teach you habits and planning. If they're not, they're going to just put you into an account, not see you again, probably call you ever so often, probably forget you, and then go on their merry way and then probably quit that job because they didn't like it and now you're with someone else.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure you've seen that happen over and over. But I think also habits includes mindset, right? Like if you don't even want to look at your bank account, I think that
Yeah.
you know
Again,
that
regardless, it's
uh,
either that. So if whatever your habits are doing, it's
yeah.
causing you to have whatever financial structure you have. The
Uh-huh.
lack of planning you have is creating the financial structure that you have. So regardless if you're not doing it or not,
Uh-huh.
you still are silently keeping that habit so that, like you said, mindset, maybe the habit is you're not meeting with anyone. The habit is you're spending this money. So
Yes.
that's your habit. So that's the reasons why you are at your financial state. So if you're dissatisfied with where you are, you have to look at your habits to then relook at what is it that I need to change. So yes, it goes back to mindset. So you have to be the one to tell yourself, I want to change. If you're
Yes.
not going to change, me as a professional, I'm sorry, do not reach out to me if you do not want to change with your finances because I don't have time.
Yes. That's the
I'm
number one
serious.
thing is that be prepared. Come in and be prepared for her to explain how it works. You jump on the ball game and then you guys are off to the races
It
because
is.
yeah.
At the end of the day, guys, the mission is number one, there's $84 trillion that is being moved from the baby boomers right now until the next 15 to 20 years. This is the biggest wealth transfer that America's ever seen. And guess what? We as Native Americans, our money is part of that too.
Uh-huh.
So the mission here is to protect 54 million of indigenous people's money by the end of 2025. I don't know why that number is in my mind. I don't know
Uh-huh.
why I'm having to repeat it over and over, but there's something inside of me that's telling me protect your people's money. So you're either going to
Yeah.
lose your money to the market or and not know how to grow back. And now you're at your late 50s, 60s, and you're praying and hoping because that's what's happening. It's one thing learning the market when you're young. See, when you're telling me like you're learning and you're buying all the key, that's great. But how do you tell that to someone that's in their 60s? As we're developing ourselves and utilizing how to live our lives around this type of currency, it's regardless or not, yes, history has happened, but you weren't part of that. You are the now. So what are you doing now to learn the policies and regulations that are now put in place in front of us? Or are we going to keep playing the victim mentality, woe is me, and woe the government, and then not do anything?
Yeah. Well, I think again, that's mind shift, right? Mindset
Mhm.
shifting to say, because I used to be very victim and
Me too. Me too. That's why I
yeah.
can. That's how confidently why I can say it's because I can look it in
Yes.
its face because that was me. I
Yes,
had to
me
look at it
too.
in the face for me. So
Uh-huh.
I don't care if people come up to me and like, oh, I don't care. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? That's victim mentality. Until you can
Uh-huh.
fully understand it, take the emotion out, stay in your logic. You can truly see that, oh yeah, my emotions were at play.
Yes,
And it was,
because
and it's not, and you can't. And this is what I'm saying. Sorry, so sorry that I'm
no,
interrupting, but
that's okay.
this is what I want to say is like you have every right to feel that way, though. Okay, like this is why I'm saying I am probably one of the very few people that can say I understand because guess what? My vessel harbors that hurt and that pain and that anger. It does because guess what? My ancestors felt that. So
Uh-huh.
only I'm going to feel that too, but that doesn't mean that's you unless
Yes.
you want that to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Does that make
No, that
sense?
totally makes sense because like I said, I had the victim mentality growing up with no money and then always like we don't have enough money for that. And then all of a sudden it's like I'm an adult and I'm trying to take budgeting classes, learn about money, that Rich Dad Poor Dad book, like just trying to understand what is this American dollar compared to how we used to live, like food stamps and welfare. Like I don't want to do that. I don't ever want my children to have to do that. I want to learn what is this American system? What is this American dollar that I can take that and then start to grow something. And I think that's important that we are able to, and like you said, in America, we're good at making money,
We
but
are really
we're
good at making
also
money.
good at spending it. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of my TikToks I discussed. We are a consumer nation, and they've talked about that how we moved away from manufacturing and now we're consumerism. And so we see all of the, like you said, the raccoons. We see all these flashy things, and we're like, I want that, I want that. And then they make you feel bad for not having that. And then it's like, okay, wait a second, let's get off. It's okay to get off that ride. Let's shift. What's really important to us? Building wealth or being broke and trying to keep up with
And
the
that's planning and the reasons why we're spending, the reasons why we feel bad, the reasons why we have peer pressure onto us is because you don't have a plan. If you had a plan, um, peer pressure wouldn't matter because it's not aligned with your plan. You can now easily
Yes.
say, like, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's not, I'm going to eat at home. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry, guys, that you guys want to go hang out, but right now I have to pay off these debts and I have to take care of my household because that's aligned with your goals. So that's what I'm saying. That's how you're gonna combat the way you're gonna combat the emotion in your finances or the peer pressure, or maybe you're the person that's like the big dog in your group and you're the one that's spending the money for everyone. If you're needing to stop that, the way you're going to combat that is getting clear with what is it that you want with your money? What's that plan? When do you want to get that by? How old are you? So that's what we're going to have when we sit down together in your financial checkup. We talk about when do you want to retire? What does that look like? How much money do you want to live off of? What's your current lifestyle? How long is that going to be? It's one thing getting to retirement. It's another thing, can you sustain that retirement?
Yes.
So, so you can get to retirement all you want. Like, I had this lady that I'm working with. She's 65 years old. She's going to retire this year. We looked at her finances. She only has $56,000 in her name. That's at her TSP, her 401k. Let me ask you this, Tiff.
What?
Is $56,000 going to sustain someone's life for the remainder 25 plus years?
Oh, she can retire and live on that for what, 3/4 of a year? That's all she's got to go back to work.
Yes, but
You
for
know?
her, she's
Uh-huh.
at the age at 65. She's exhausted. She can't do it anymore. She's relying on the system because that's what has happened to her. She thought she was doing what's right, putting money inside her
Uh-huh.
401k, but who's to say how her money was growing? Who's to say who was even helping her?
Oh
I literally asked her, I
no.
said, when was the first time you had a financial checkup? She says, my first one. I says, oh my goodness.
Oh my
There's
goodness.
over 50%, it's close to 60. I forget the right stat, but it's over 50% of baby boomers that are retiring have never had a financial checkup. Again, over $84 trillion is being transferred from the baby boomers into retirement. You're saying more than 50% of those individuals that have that money have never had a financial checkup because they don't even know. So I literally asked her, I says, what would you have done if you didn't have met with me? And she says, well, I just would have cashed it out and lived on it. And I said, okay, let's go with that plan. And I showed her, if we follow that plan, going off a base of your lifestyle and how much your expenses are, this money would have only sustained you for only 13 months.
Yeah.
What are you going to do after those 13 months? She says, well, I'm not going to go back to work full time because I can't. I will probably do part time. I says, even if you do part time with your expenses, you're only making 1,800. You need 4,100 to cover your expenses. So how are you going to get the remainder? She's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing getting to retirement. It's another thing, can you
Yes.
actually sustain it?
Okay, everybody listening, go get your financial wellness checkup right now. Stop this podcast. Contact Julie.
Oh, let's get it. Let's get it checked.
Because you don't
It's
want to be that lady. You don't want to
no,
be,
no.
because I like I said, thankfully, now that we're talking about this, have always checked my accounts. What are we doing? But I know when I was super stretched thin and we had 40 bucks a month to make groceries work, I was not checking because I was just hoping. But I also knew like this is only temporary. This is only temporary until we get to the next spot and then it'll be okay, But I didn't want to be like, this is where I live now. 40 bucks a month,
Yes.
or 40 bucks a
Yes.
week, not month, but
Yes.
still, that's not where you want to live. You want to live, well, to me, money no longer is like, I used to think of like, oh, well, these people have all this money. But then now I don't, I think money equates freedom. It is not like the American dollar in itself. But that's how I used to see it. Like this is, but having the ability to create a lifestyle, to be able to retire at 65 and not have to worry, that is true freedom to say, oh, okay, I made these right decisions. I've invested my money well. And then now I can sit back or I can gift, like you said. That's my most favorite thing, is the best feeling to be like, oh, it's my friend's birthday. I'm gonna go down and get them this like really nice bag or these things that they've been wanting, and it's just like, oh my God, I love this. But without the proper education, foundation, I might still be living like 40 bucks a week in groceries. I tell
Seriously,
you.
like the analogy I can only give is you're either going to be Ariel and you're gonna use your money and brush your hair with it, you're gonna be in a group of room and they're gonna like kind of potentially tell you like that's not how you do it. You're either gonna be offended or you're either gonna lean into it and be like, okay, what do I need to do with this? How do I use this fork? You eat
Yes.
it. Okay, that's how you eat it. It's the same
Uh,
with your money. Same thing with our people. Get this. Oh gosh, what was that? Oh gosh, when the name is in my mind, but for some reason I can't say it. You know how sometimes that happens?
yes.
There's when my ancestors, when they were being brought from their lands to then go into the camps of the US,
Yeah. I can't think of that
that
port either. I think it was in Texas, the Bosque Redondo, like kind of
I have it here.
before the long walk, like that.
Yes, so there is, but they went to a place in Colorado for my family. So, um, but anyhow, so I'm gonna find it. Anyhow, they when they left, okay, they their livestock was taken away. They were only left with like one sheep and like one horse. And then then they were exchanged this bag of flour, baking soda, and sugar.
Uh-huh.
Like that's all that they were given. So in here I'm reading that like again, like let's take the analogy. These natives are uprooted and now put into a whole different system. We, either we realize it or not, are born into the system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have to understand how it works. Yes, we're going to be given this life of you got to go now, go get a job and survive. Like
Yeah.
that's how it is. So you're either gonna, so you're gonna, so in other words, in this analogy, it's like, well, here's your bag of flour, here's your sugar, go make what you need with it. Okay, so what did they do? They didn't know any of it. They just put like in as I'm reading it here, I'm gonna see if I can find it. They literally just put it inside. They just mix it up. They just mix it up with water, the sugar and the flour and they drank it. That's all that they did because they didn't know how to utilize those type of ingredients, aka
Yeah.
tools.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, but then these other natives that were there before them literally went up to them and was like, why are you doing that? They're like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, and then they showed them how to make types of bread from it. These other natives that were already there in that camp before them. So,
Yes.
in other words, think of me like that. I'm literally
Yes.
looking at my people and I'm like, why are we putting our money in places like this? Like, ah, I can only do so much. So literally, I'm telling you, people like, you're just like mixing it in water and drinking it. Like there's there's other things you can do, and that's the education. So
Uh-huh.
I can show you, I can teach you, but I'm not going to do it. That's still your survival. That's still your vessel. You have energy. I got to take care of my own.
Uh-huh.
So, but I see that you're struggling. So let me show you what you need to do. That's the difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
That's that
totally.
analogy when it comes.
Yes, I love that. I
So,
love that. Yeah, because we're still learning about where to put our money and don't put it under your mattress.
yeah, oh my gosh, I think one family I was helping with, yeah, they put it like in a Twinkie box underneath their mattress. Guys, you're not
No.
gonna outpace inflation, all right?
Yes, for real. Okay,
Your
so
seeds are in a little pot, okay? So,
so on your TikToks, your editing skills, oh my goodness. Like how are you like using CapCut? Are you because you're genius at editing these. Go watch her TikToks because you add the effects. It's like a little teeny show. Like, oh my God. I love it.
I do my own edits, okay?
Uh-huh.
For the life of me, I have yet to find someone who can do the edits the way I want them to.
Uh-huh.
Um, so before I got into doing my own brokerage, so I worked at Wells Fargo. I was at Wells Fargo for a little over 9 years. I was going into my 10th year.
Uh-huh.
Um, I ended up leaving because that's when I was going to become a financial advisor. And in that process was when I was helping an individual anywho, I learned more about the system of how financial advisors work. And I'm like, this doesn't align with my values.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I stopped and I ended up leaving the bank and I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, what am I going to do? I have no college degree. I got to go back to school. I've been putting all my time into this career and I left it. What am I going to do? This is before COVID. So I went back to school.
Uh-huh.
By the way, guys, I still haven't finished school.
I
I
haven't either.
went
It's
back
okay.
I went back to school and I was like, I'm going to go into digital marketing because the way the world is going and I'm in marketing, like the way
Uh-huh.
it's going, let's go more digital. So I started to do videography, photography, website design. I ended up building a business. Did commercial work for the Utah Symphony Valley Symphony over here.
Ooh, okay.
I did some odd projects. Like some people have hired me to do little film works for them. So I did that. Like that was really fun. I really enjoyed it. But then again, with where I'm going and where I feel like our creator put these little visions in my mind, it's like
Uh-huh.
you're gonna do this, but not now. I need you here. And
Yes.
that's again, I need you back in the financial world. Like,
Uh-huh.
okay, fine that I left for a reason. There's like, no, I needed you to leave because I needed you to see how it is so then you can create your own.
Yes.
That's how you're going to change. That's how you're going to help your people. So lo and behold, now I am where I am. So to give you that background, that's how I developed that. So I still do it, and the way I do it is by sharpening my skills, by doing it on my own. So I do
Uh-huh.
my own branding, I do my own marketing, um, because I want it a certain way.
Yes.
So So
Indigenous excellence. I'm telling you. There we
until
go.
I can find someone. The person that I've learned from, you guys want to know
Uh-huh.
how we're learned some of my techniques and how to write stories. So is Brandon Lee. Go to YouTube, go search Brandon Lee. His style
Uh-huh.
is what I love.
Okay.
If you guys go to my YouTube, I have some of my old like videos from like years ago. Guys, this is like back when I was recording on like this old Samsung phone, but it looks
Uh-huh.
but like this is what I learned from Brandon Lee. Who cares how old dated or how like your phone is and outdated it is? Can you still create a story? So
Oh.
that's what I got from him and now like I don't care what I'm with, I can create a story out of anything. So I like to create stories when I'm creating my shorts. And that's why I'm developing my YouTube. My YouTube is gonna show my vlog. It's gonna have teachings and it's gonna have just like cool video things because I think that's fun. I like that. So that's where I'm doing my
Yes.
YouTube. And I'm my own editor. So yes.
Multi-talented. Look at you. Okay, so I just wanted to say, I was
Oh, and
thinking
I use
now.
CapCut. Sorry,
Oh,
CapCut. You said
CapCut.
which
Okay.
one? I
Yes.
use CapCut and Adobe. If I'm on the computer, Adobe.
Adobe.
So
It's so
Premiere.
good. The videos are so good. But what I'm thinking here, like when you're talking, in my life, I'm good at networking. I love going places, talking to people, talking to other natives, making connections. So I like know, not to brag, but a lot of people. And then
I love that.
but when I think back, I probably only know four natives in finance. And one of them, he's not even in finance anymore. So really, I only know three. And I think that is such a, yes. So the fact that you're doing this for people is just like fantastic. I can't wait till you get out there and really blow up and glow up. And you're the next, do you ever watch Graham Stephan? No,
Never
he's
heard
like
that
this
name.
finance guy, and he's like this little Bilagana guy, and he like talks about money and like don't go to Starbucks, instead save your money like this. But yes, I was like, and he created this huge following, and I can't wait for you to do that. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
so this is what I would, this is seriously when I was developing my Navajo and Finance brand,
yes.
it was specifically to my natives. So I'm gonna be honest, like I'm okay not going viral because the mission
Yes.
is the natives, are they getting exposed to this information? So like that will always be my intention until I can the way I'm going to measure this
Uh-huh.
that I know that we're moving in the direction as a massive community as a whole
Yes.
is when I can Google on Forbes and Yahoo Finance and see our indigenous brothers and sisters here.
Yes.
So that's when I know my work is done. Until then, I'm going to keep repeating the same thing over and over because, guys, when you're building wealth, it's the exact same thing. The only thing that's different is your why and like your time frame. That's the only difference. Think of it like we all know we need to be healthy, but you have your own vessel. You have what works for you versus in someone else's vessel and may not work for yours. It's the same thing, but it's the same concepts. You gotta know your body. You gotta know what exercises. You gotta know what type of nutrition that helps for you, and you
Mhm.
gotta get rest. It's the
Yes.
same thing with your finances. You gotta know your money, how much you're making, what type of expenses you have, and then what's your future looking like? How much do you want to save for you? Because what you think is a lot of money may be not a lot of money for someone else, and what may not feel like a lot of money for someone else may feel like a lot of money for Joe over here. So everyone's financial picture is different. We all have a different fingerprint, but at the end of the day, it's the same concepts. These concepts have been ringing true even before you were born, even before your parents were born, and even before their parents were born. So if we can understand those concepts and apply it now,
Yes.
you're
That's
fine.
so good. Yes. I think that we should start looking at it as your mental health, your physical health, and your finance. Those are all tied together. Because right now it's just like, oh, you got to work out. You got to eat
It's
right.
it's a five
It's
F's.
like,
That's how I look at
no.
it. That's how I
Okay.
look at it. It's a five F's. Your faith. So your spirituality. How are you
Okay.
feeding your spirituality? Okay. Um, your family? What is your connection? Trust me, when you're building true wealth, you got to have that connection with your family. Um, or friends, maybe your friends are your family, okay? So faith, family, your finances. You got to get your financial household in order because it only dictates our whole life, the quality of life, what we eat,
Mm-hmm.
what we see as hobbies, what we get to travel to. Like money dictates our whole type of life.
Uh-huh.
Um, your fitness. So take care of your vessel. Okay, you got as much as you're enjoying what you made, you want the prolong of it. And then fun. You gotta have fun. Okay. You can't just like have all of
Yes.
this and not have fun. Okay. So like focus on the five F's. I'm telling you, that's if you want to know how I'm keeping myself aligned, is the five F's. Is my faith good? Is my family relationships good? Guys, these are the two things I'm working on right now.
Uh-huh.
Seriously, guys, if it, well, maybe that'd be another episode, but like those are the two things I'm working on because those were not at the top. Those were actually on the bottom for me. I was having massive fun. I was
Uh-huh.
doing well in my fitness. I was okay. I mean, like when I say okay with my finances, meaning like my finances, I've always known. Okay, I've always known how like, to do it. I've never felt that money is scarce. Money's always massively abundant. I've been able to always to find it. Even when I was about to lose
Yes.
my house and like be in massive debt, I
Uh-huh.
wasn't afraid because I knew I'd be able to find it. And I did.
Mindset. Yep. I love that. Uh-huh. Yes. So good. So good. Okay. So I don't want to take up like your whole freaking day, even though I just want to talk with you about all your money, all your strategies. It's so good. But okay, let's go into the three rapid fire questions. Are you ready? Okay. So if you could have dinner with any person, fictional, real life, historic, who would it be? And what would you eat?
So it's funny. It's funny that you're saying like that you asked this. So I've never been asked that question before, and it took me some time to think. So my grandpa, Chief Narbona. Seriously, my
Yes.
grandpa, Chief Narbona. That would, and then if I had to choose a second person,
Uh-huh. Okay, you're
what?
having dinner with three people.
Okay, okay, now three people. Okay, Robin Williams. I'm not even
Oh
kidding.
my
I would
God.
freaking love to like.
Yes, classic. I think,
Freaking Robin Williams. But honestly, those are like the two people. Like I can't
uh-huh.
think of anybody else. I mean, like if I took time to like, but honestly, I would love to pick my grandpa's brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like I honestly do believe I'm embodying his energy and his spirit because he is like me. I'm like him.
Uh-huh.
He led wealth and
Uh-huh.
he obtained it and sustained it. It wasn't until the US government that killed him that ended up deteriorating what he built, and then now it was dismantled and now evolved into now this new way of living. I am now taking that and now I'm
Uh-huh.
going to recreate it, and now we're going to rebuild massive wealth and claim the birthright that is rightfully ours. And the way you claim your birthright, guys, know the laws, the policies, and regulations, and get what's yours. We are in
Yes.
abundant life.
100, 1,000, a trillion percent. That is so right because we have intelligence, we have native excellence, brilliance in our community, and we just are on the verge because so many people are learning like within my I was working in environmental and that's the one number one thing is learn the policy, speak their language because we could say I don't like this or I don't remember. They're not listening because we're not speaking their language. It's just falling on deaf ears. But as soon as you start implementing those laws, well, it says here in this, they're like, oh, wait a second, now we have to work. But yes, I
100%.
a
Yes.
1,000% agree with what you're saying. Okay, so next question. What is your go-to power suit? Do you have one? Or is that only on TV?
Are you saying power pose? Is that what you're saying?
No, like your outfit where you wear and you're like, I'm gonna nail this. You know what I mean?
My power suit? Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know, because you see it on TV. It's just like, this is my power suit. Or actually, because I really love fashion, I go in and I watch the videos and stuff. And they're like, this is what I wear to make myself feel confident and go into whatever space they're going into.
So I have yet to find my true power suit, like to be honest.
Uh-huh.
So when I was going through my healing journey, I was doing hypnotherapy, which by the way,
Okay.
guys, it is an amazing way of healing yourself
Mm-hmm.
internally is that I'm not even kidding. Hypnotherapy, by the way, guys, is just a fancy way of saying deep meditation. That's all you're doing. You're just going in deep meditation. So, anywho, when I was going in my deep meditation, and I was visualizing my higher self.
Uh-huh.
So the person that I'm becoming now, like what I'm doing every day now is to
Yes.
become this person I've seen. This person. I'm
Yes.
not even kidding. She's like literally had like the coolest outfit ever. And I'm like,
Yes.
I haven't in hunt of this. I'm not even kidding. More sense of this. It's like this blue, like I can't even explain it. I don't even know the pattern, but it's like this blue, and it's not like a type of blue that's like royal blue. It's like a different type of blue. I can't even explain the color, but it's like this blue suit. I like suits, okay? Like I
Okay.
love suits. I
Uh-huh.
love yes. I grew up as a tomboy, so I was like, no more dresses. I have yet to find the dress I like, okay? But
Okay.
right now, suits. So like
Okay.
suits and I freaking love them. I don't even know the style, but I visualize this blue type of suit. Um I've even envisioned like my kids around me.
Uh-huh.
And I am at this type of like it's like I'm thinking. It's like I this visualization of me thinking and my kids are there and it's like
Oh,
that's and I'm wearing this outfit. And then my hair was like a little bit shorter.
uh-huh.
But it was like back kind of like this. I remember it all. Like I remember like how I looked and everything.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, she's cool. I have yet to find that power suit, but that's a power suit. It's in my head. I can see it. When it happens, I'm literally
Yes.
going to tell you, this is it.
Yes. I will be waiting. I'll be like, yes, that is. I love that you did the hypnotherapy because I did therapy, just regular, schmegular, like going to cry to somebody about my childhood. But I think it's very important. Whatever methodology people use, I just believe in healing. And I believe it goes back healing our ancestors too. So it's just really important. Whatever, methodology you use, it's really important. But yes. But anyways, with your suit, I can't wait. That's so beautiful, that vision you have.
I've
And
even thought of like, who can I commission to make it? It's still in my head. You know what I mean? So,
ooh,
yes,
yes. Lots of good indigenous designers out there.
exactly.
Okay. Last question. What is the go-to quote that you have that you're like, this resonates with my life, who I am? It
The
could even be yours.
creator, the creator created you, which
Oh,
which means you can create. So go create the life that you are destined to have. It's only your birthright. Go get it.
yes. I love that. I love it when you talk about birthright. It's like, ding, 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 ding. Like, yes, what you're saying just resonates. It's like, you're right. Like we say, oh, we're from here, we're the original citizens, but let's talk about our birthright. So good. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. Like you have just dropped some wisdom nuggets out there. And I hope whoever's listening, go out there, go follow Julie on TikTok. You will just totally love her knowledge, the way she edits, the nuggets you're dropping. So yes, yeah, I just am so
Oh,
thankful for you
mm-hmm.
being here.
Okay. No, I appreciate you, sis. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. What I would say is, what is it that you need? How can I help you?
Um, just keep being that amazing shining star that you are. Yes, because to me that makes me happy knowing an indigenous person is out there in finance when you are probably 0.00001% of the people in that industry, and to go out there and make that difference and just be that indigenous excellence that you are. That's all that makes me so happy.
Well, sis, just know we're here. I'm a firm believer of building community. Community is wealth.
Hmm.
So, guys, I'm here to help you. I want to be a resource and a shield of protection for you.
So beautiful.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Pagone.
Got it.